adjourned.
We have a new.
Yeah, see that? And it's right at 7 o'clock.
Okay. Oh, heard a phone. Heard a phone. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday, November 18th, 2025 City of Oldsmar City Council meeting. If you could please join me in our invocation and our Pledge of Allegiance led by our City Attorney, Mr. Tom Trask.
Father in heaven, give us the power to clearly discern right from wrong. Allow our words and actions to be governed thereby and by the laws of this land. We ask for your inspiration to strive in our endeavors to serve the public. We also ask that you direct us so that above all things, we will discharge our duties for the benefit of the people we serve. This we pray. Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Tom. I would like, if the council will indulge me for just a moment, to remark that we have here this evening our school board member, District 4, Eileen Long. I want to make sure to welcome her here to our Oldsmar Council chambers. We also have a former council member and Vice Mayor Jared Buckman here today. I hope I didn't miss any other public officials if they sneak in. Before we go to open forum, if I could have if I could have a motion to suspend the rules for just a moment.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. I'm hoping to move item number 18 to item number 2 instead, so that Board Member Long need not stay the entirety of our meeting and we can accommodate any families. So I'd like to move that. Does anybody have any objection to that?
No.
No objection? Thank you so much. So we'll take that item out of order. And then I need a motion to return to the rules.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? No. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you so much. For our open forum, we have a lot of folks here tonight. I'm so glad to see all these faces. I know there are people here to speak tonight regarding the revised conceptual plan by Stanbery Development, and there might be people here this evening regarding the Oldsmar Elementary Resolution K-8. So we're going to call those items right after an award presentation as items 2 and 3. Okay, so you won't have to wait that long, but if you're here for something else, if you're here for open forum to speak about anything else, I would love to welcome you to the podium at this time. Anybody on this side of the room? Tom, come on up.
Tom O'Shea, 208 Lake Charles Court. I just want to say congratulations to the city. You guys are award-winning in that you got a golden helmet for your firefighters for such a great job that they're doing with the preventing cancer. And I know you guys do everything all the time. You always are winning so many awards, and I just want to congratulate.
Did you see our new shelf?
You see that? You're going to have to get a bigger shelf.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a big enough shelf.
They're not all just kind of stacked over there anymore.
Yeah.
Our city clerk took care of that and also installed a new picture frame over there, so take a look around. And I believe near Vice Mayor are our financial awards over
Got a
there.
new clock, too?
Got a new clock?
There is also a new clock.
Like I was saying,
To your point.
many award-winning city. I just want to say congratulations and thank you.
Thank you so much, Tom. Is there anyone else on this side of the room that would like to address the council on any other matters? Okay. Is there anyone on this side of the room that would like to address the council on any matters not on tonight's agenda? Okay. And we'll close the open forum and we'll have our city clerk, Kristen Garcia, read our community minute.
Thank you, Mayor. Santa Claus's mailbox is at City Hall and will be from November 17th to December 19th outside of City Hall. So you can go to the mailbox and deliver your letter to Santa. And we also have a holiday scavenger hunt happening at the library from December 1st to December 6th. The tree lighting ceremony will be held at City Hall on Monday, December 1st at 6 p.m. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you so much. And next, I have approval of addition of new agenda items, items 1, 5, 6, 17, and 18. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on these items?
No.
Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Item number 1.
Item number 1, Mayor, and it's my honor to present this item, presentation of National Firefighter Registry NFR for Cancer Gold Helmet. So the NFR for Cancer is a voluntary registry open to every firefighter in the United States, not just those with cancer. This began as HR 931 Firefighter Cancer Registry Act of 2018 and was again voted by HR 3821 Firefighter Cancer Registry Reauthorization Act of 2023. Led by the CDC's National Institute of Occupational Health and Safety, this effort is the most ambitious undertaking ever in our country to track and better understand cancer in the fire service. With broad participation, the NFR for Cancer tracks cancer diagnosis, including rare types of cancer among firefighters throughout the United States, compares cancer risk among different groups of firefighters, evaluates how exposures, including those during disaster responses, relate to firefighters' cancer risk, examines how control interventions relate to cancer risk, measures whether firefighters' risks for various cancers are changing over time. In order to obtain substantial data, the NFR for Cancer requests that all firefighters participate in this critically important program. All members of the City of Oldsmar Fire Rescue Department completed their surveys to participate in the program. Since 100% of the department has participated in the program, the NFR is here tonight to present the department with a gold helmet designation. So I invite Division Chief Cargill up to the lectern.
Thank you. Here with me tonight from the National Firefighter Registry is Nick and Raymond to present the gold helmet and recognize Oldsmar Fire Department and City of Oldsmar for their efforts in fighting cancer.
Awesome.
We were also hoping to have our Truck 5-4 with us tonight, but right before the meeting, they actually had a car fire at the Walgreens. And another important step to preventing cancer is decon afterwards, where they'll wash down their gear and immediately shower to keep the carcinogens from contaminating the gear.
Exact thing, yes, yes. Incredible. Well,
Thanks, Chief.
we'd,
Here's your gold helmet.
Thank you.
we'd love to have a photograph of y'all. Please, council, come down.
So again, the NFR, what we're trying to do is cut cancer in the fire service. So like Chief said, we're cutting cancer in the fire service. Oldsmar Fire Rescue is 100% compliant, meaning all the members have signed in and enrolled, which is huge. Pinellas County is doing well. You guys are doing awesome.
You can absolutely share. I mean,
This is a big moment. No, you guys did awesome, and your firefighters are great, and they care about their future. I'm trying to take a picture. Sorry.
Kind of have everyone squeeze in some. All right, a couple more on the phone. Hang on. Oh yeah. See if I can get just a little bit closer in together. Kind of big old happy family, okay? All right.
one more.
Snuck up on me.
I always try to make sure that someone has a microphone, so the millions of people watching on YouTube.
Got it.
But yeah, please feel free. This is an education for all of us.
No, they can hear me. All right, so one last thing. All right, it's for me too. One last thing is cancer is the #1 cause of fire death in the cancer is the #1 cause of death in the fire service. So that's why this is such a big thing, because we care about the future and your firefighters care about the future. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here tonight. We really appreciate that. Okay, so with that, we will move on to agenda item number 18, technically item number 2. This is consider drafting resolution in support of making Oldsmar Elementary School K-8. And before I ramble for too long, Vice Mayor, I would like to ask Board Member Long to come to the podium and give us a little bit of history, because truly she has been a champion of this for a very long time. If you don't know, Eileen Long was a teacher for 35 years, 34 of them in Pinellas County schools. She graduated from Seminole High School. She had 2 children who went to Dunedin High School and Palm Harbor University. She still lives in Dunedin, and she's been serving on the school board since 2016. So has literally been in every potential role you can be relative to Pinellas County schools. So I would be so honored if you would tell us a little bit about the background of why this is on our agenda tonight, and then I can ramble later.
Thank you so much for letting me come tonight. As you heard from my background, I've been in the Pinellas County schools for 40-some years, and when I retire, I will have 46 years in the school system. It's my life. And I feel strongly about giving families every opportunity for their children. I look at Oldsmar, and I know that you have to choose either Carwise Middle or Safety Harbor. Both are not that close, especially Carwise. And to think that sometimes the kids are on the bus an hour and a half, that's ridiculous. It's terrible. They get to they lose out on things like baseball. I don't know where to turn because I feel my back.
It's okay. No, we're all here. We're all here.
I'll go over here so I'm with you.
Jared, would you give her the mic?
The mic.
We want to make sure everybody can. We want to make sure everybody online can hear you.
Probably blow the mic up. Anyway, after visiting all the schools in the county and being so active, Oldsmar really caught my heart. I thought as a parent, wow, how do you get to participate with your children? How do you have family time during the week? And that's when I started talking to the principal of Oldsmar, and I started talking to several people, including our superintendent, and I said, Kevin, you've unleashed a fire, and I'm ready to go. And I have pushed and pushed, and now he's taking it very seriously. I think you all need to, if you can, December 2nd is to let the public know and understand what schools of hope are. This is a really difficult thing that could be happening to us. They can come in, they can use our schools any way they want, we will pay for it, and the state will give them money to run their business. And I don't think that taxpayer money should go for that.
These are
Okay,
the charter
let me
schools.
give you an
It's okay.
example. I'm sure you have all heard on the news, Schools of Hope. You haven't? Okay, well, the state of Florida last year slipped in a little passage into the law that said that if a school is not to full capacity, a charter school or a company, they don't have the schools here yet, can come in and let's say Oldsmar. They say, Oldsmar, you can move all your kids and squish them to this end, and we'll take that end and we'll open a school of hope. We, the school system, will pay for the busing, the lunchroom, the textbooks, everything, but the charter company will get the money that usually goes to a charter school. It will deeply affect Pinellas County schools. And we don't have D&F schools. But if you're in an area, and it's basically the whole county when you look at it, if there is an area which has a population that isn't quite financially stable, they can come in and open a school within 5 miles of that neighborhood, which is basically anywhere in Pinellas County. Some of our schools, not our North County, there's a few, but Oldsmar's not one yet, that, they're looking at it. South County's going to be hit hard. And I don't want to see that happen in Oldsmar. I want it to be a community, a school where people can participate with their children, grandparents can participate. It's not just young families. We all have a stake in this. If our school system does not stay strong, and I'm so proud to say we're an A district, we have worked our tails off for that. But it's important that we keep strong, and it's important that we give students the best opportunity. I have 2 children, and one was special ed, and I taught special ed for 35 years. Dropout prevention, I was a school psychologist, and then I was an administrator. He didn't have the opportunity to play softball or baseball because I was pushing him so hard to get a regular diploma. And that was so important, but now he's 23 and he's sort of lost. And I blame myself for that. You learn as you go, and I don't want that for any other child to miss out on something. Going to church. If you are a religious family, you have the right to take your children in the evening and participate. And that's what I want to see for Oldsmar. I don't want to see kids on a bus for an hour and a half or more because East Lake Road is so congested you can't get there. I don't want to see parents missing open house or grandparents not being able to go to a play or a musical because they're too far from the school. That's not fair. We're robbing you of things that are important, families. So I have really pushed. I want to see a K through 8. We opened our first K through 8 at we closed Walsingham and Southern Oaks, and now it's called Walsingham Oaks. The elementary is still the elementary. You walk through a hall, and you get to the middle school. This year it has 6th grade. Next year we're going to add 7th grade, and then we're going to add 8th grade. Oldsmar, a lot of families have chosen to go to charter schools or private schools. And a lot of them, it's tightening their belts just to pay for the school. Charters you don't have to pay for, but charters can also say, your kid isn't quite on target of what we want, so you have to go back to public schools. They keep the money, and we lose the money, but the kids are back because they're rejected by charter schools. I don't want to see that for any of you. So I have met with the mayor, and I've made some great friends tonight that are really enthusiastic and are willing to support me. I am willing to come back with the superintendent. I'll be dragging him. He really understands the importance. He just worries about the logistics and everything that's happening in the state. And I tell him if we don't push and we don't dream, it's never going to happen. And this old lady's going to push till the very end because this has been my life. And I want to leave something good when I leave. And I think this is an opportunity to do just that. Oldsmar was rated #1 about 2 years ago, the best city to raise a family. Let's keep it that way. And I think if we do a K through 8, that will help you. That will boost. I think parents will come back to the school, our school system from charter schools because we're now giving them options. Now, I'm going to say this, and then I'll stop for questions if you want. The one disadvantage of a K through 8 school is that children will not get every elective. We will survey the parents and see what's offered. Now, we know we'll be teaching Spanish is extremely important because children need to learn to be bilingual in this business world. We will have some electives. They'll have PE, but maybe we won't have like a medical middle school or some of those. We'd have to pick and choose so that we can make this, you know, a sound middle school. But that's what I need. I need community's involvement and people to talk to me and tell me what Oldsmar wants. So I'm told the mayor tonight, I'm willing to come back, you know, we'll meet somewhere and have a forum. And that way you all can bring your ideas and tell us what you want. And I will bring Mr. Hendrick and I will bring Jen Dull, who's in charge of the building process now, and we'll listen. He's not against it, and he knows that this, I'm not letting go. So if you have any questions or, you know, yes, ma'am?
Do you envision music and the arts would be electives?
If that is what Oldsmar wants, then yes.
To be honest, I'm looking at the campuses, and back in the day when sixth graders, we used to have the older kids in elementary. There are a lot of behavior issues. I'm not really looking at this particular campus in Oldsmar as being able to keep the bigger 8th graders, 7th and 8th graders from the little guys.
Right.
You know, so they can have their experience. Oak Grove and Southern Oaks, that area and those campuses are quite different than what we have here.
Correct.
Downtown Oldsmar, just putting that out there.
You're right.
When you're talking about electives,
If we could have anybody who wants to come up, we want to make sure we capture your thoughts on the microphone, because otherwise we can't catch the public record. No, I didn't make an announcement. This is agenda item number 2, so if you'd like to speak about this item, I think Eileen kind of captured it.
I'm Carol Connolly. I'm a teacher at Dixie Highlands High School in St. Pete.
Thank you.
As far as like with campuses and looking at keeping the younger students from the older students, this was an issue back, I believe it was like in the late 70s, 80s. They made that transition, and they had the older kids, of course, you know, the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Middle school is not really my forte, that age group.
Takes a lot. That's
Yeah, there is.
my
and
whole
there's
life in middle
but I
school
also, I
teaching.
also believe that little kids should have that experience of little kids being
Exact- Well,
children.
the way we would look at it, we're looking at the old zona and what it would take to modernize it and become the middle school. So there's distance between the
Right,
elementary.
I mean, I'm totally for that. I think that it's a great idea. My son has a younger kiddo who's in 3rd grade, and that's one of the things that he's really nervous about, signing him all the way to Carwise Middle School. I think in theory, it's a great idea.
I want to keep us moving in our meeting.
Okay, sorry about
we
that,
can
but
certainly
just letting you know, just that's the concern about the size of that
Yeah.
campus over there to accommodate the older ones, the 7th and 8th graders, maybe
Yes.
that needs
6th,
to be looked
7th, and
at.
8th grade, yes.
Okay.
I don't
thank
believe
you
in bringing elementary
much,
to the
Eileen.
middle.
Thank you so much. I think this kind of captures why I had this on the agenda tonight. And I know there's a lot of logistical questions, but I generally was looking for consensus to have Tom draft a resolution in support of this and then bring it back for us potentially to the December meeting. And then we can have more public comment on it. And I would love to have Eileen back to have a town hall, if you will. There's of course a lot of questions that we'll have, but there might not be answers for those questions yet. But my goal tonight was to move this conversation forward, because it's been stuck for a long time. So I'd like to get the research and get the conversation going. So I would like a motion to request that Tom draft a resolution in support of making Oldsmar Elementary School K-8.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this issue at this point?
No, I think it's worth exploring.
Me too.
I think everybody thinks
There's
it's
a lot
worth
of
exploring.
unknowns, but
Yeah.
you gotta start somewhere.
Hey, you went there.
Product of it.
And your kids are there, and my kids are there, and your kids are at Forest Lakes, and your kids went to Forest Lakes. So we've got a lot of parents up here. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll make a motion. Thank you, guys, so much. Thank you so much, Eileen, for coming tonight. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
Mayor, there was some more public comment. I
Oh,
believe.
I'm so sorry. Anybody else? Yes.
I've had experience with this a little bit. Jared Buckman, 310 Washington Avenue. As a parent or resident, I've experienced firsthand the challenges of navigating schooling for children living in Oldsmar. For us, it was one at OES, another one at Carwise, and another one at Eastlake, all for the same 2 years. I'm here to fully support the idea of establishing a K-8 school here in Oldsmar, and I would share these points from my perspective. The family's perspective, the academic perspective, and the community perspective. One, having children spread across campuses created a lot of logistical and emotional concerns for our family. Carpooling to after-school sessions to calls from my daughter that she's still at the bus stop at 10 a.m. in the morning because the buses forgot to pick her up. It becomes very hard for a family, and as parents who both work from home, it was extremely difficult. I can't imagine what it's like for other residents who do not have that luxury of working remotely. A K-8 through school here, right here in Oldsmar, will mean siblings will stay together longer, transit times are reduced or eliminated, there are fewer changes in school culture or location for our kids. That means more family time, and research that I've looked at supports the notion that more meaningful family time correlates with better student outcomes. The Federal Resource Group for Youth.gov reports that family engagement in schools leads to improved achievement, decreased disciplinary issues, stronger teacher-student and parent-teacher relationships. Point two, let me turn this mic off, I keep hitting it, sorry. Academic and extracurricular benefits. When children move campuses from elementary to middle, there's always a disruption in routines, culture, expectations that can create a soft drag on their academic performance. A K-8 school is going to reduce that transition effect. It's going to give us continuity in academic culture, peer groups, and staff relationships. It also makes after-school and extracurricular participation more feasible for families. Didn't get the opportunity with my children to do anything after school at Carwise or Eastlake. Open houses, I know 2 years ago, families were complaining they couldn't get to open houses at both locations. And after being at OES or Forest Lakes for so many years and having that luxury that they're right here in our backyards, it's very hard to take that move. One longitudinal study found that time spent with family and homework and extracurricular activities increased the probability of positive development into early adulthood. And when a family doesn't have to route kids to multiple campuses across town, it increases the likelihood that children can participate in sports teams, music programs, clubs, which turn and boost engagement, school attachment, and performance. 2.5 minutes left. Point three, community benefits. A K-8 school in Oldsmar becomes more than just a convenience, it becomes a community. It becomes an anchor in our community. It allows children from a wide age range to go to school in their own community, to build longer-term relationships with staff, for siblings across grades to remain in the same community school, and families to build deeper ties to one institution rather than multiple. Continuity improves staff's understanding of families and students, which research shows is critical in supporting academic success. A study referencing early parenting and family processes found models of how family stress, early parenting, and school readiness all tied into reading and math achievement. As a parent navigating these challenges over the past several years at different schools with all my children, I know how fragmented calendars become. I know how few hours we got to spend with our kids over time, and how hard it is to participate in those after-school activities. A K-8 school in Oldsmar offers a viable solution that reduces transition, increases family time, improves extracurricular access, strengthens academic performance, and builds community. I encourage our community leaders, thank you Eileen Long for coming out this evening, our school board members, our parents, to seriously explore this idea. Let's build a school that serves our kids from kindergarten through 8th grade, supports our families, and strengthens our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the public that I missed on this item? I apologize, Jared.
Sorry, I'll be quick. Cindy Olmsted, 507 Arlington Avenue East. My question is on Forest Lakes Elementary. How does this affect Forest Lakes? And is there opportunity for them to matriculate into a K through 8?
Those are excellent questions. I wish I had the answers
Yeah.
right now, but those are the kinds of questions that I'm seeking answers to. I think we'd all be interested in that
Yeah, and
information.
also how, if they aren't available to go there, how's that leave that school? I mean, are they subject to the, I'm sorry, I don't know the
Hope-
Center of Hope?
Right. All
thing,
wonderful,
so, yeah.
that's an excellent logistical question that,
Thank
you know,
you.
all of those things need to be considered. Yes. Thank you, Cindy. Anybody else want to be heard on this item? Hi there. Liz Martin.
Liz Martin, 3119 Phoenix Avenue. I just wanted to throw in an ad here that any help that you want on this, our organization has over 21,000 hours about this very discussion. So anything and everything that you want to know specifically around the Oldsmar area, we've got a ton of feedback for you already to start. And data that will make your eyes bleed. So
She really can. She does have that data.
we have also looked at the 5.2, 5.3 acre site as what could be possibly that we could do there. And so we have some proposal ideas for the school board. And things that will make things, some items that maybe nobody's even thought of that have been brought to our attention by parents, by other teachers, by students, former students who wish they'd had access to those things. So just a ton of information. So Eileen, if you want to know anything, if Kevin wants to know anything, I really don't know that there's somebody that's probably got more data on it than I do. So I will be happy to help.
I love seeing connections happen in real time.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Liz. Yes, Esther.
Hi, my name is Esther Cordero, and is the school, the Hope, whatever, the only option, or are they gonna offer to different charter school companies? Because I was teacher before in public, private, and I own my own daycare now because honestly, like, there is always pros and cons.
Sure.
On private schools, I really like the behavior. I feel that they work better managing behavior, and they are more strict. And, parenting is so different. What is a great option for you that you think is good, for another family, it can be wrong. So I don't know what is good or wrong. I guess it's the point of view or what you think, or from what culture you are from to. So in private school, I like the Christian values, and actually this country was created, based Christian. But in public schools, you are not allowed as a teacher to talk to God. I did work in a Christian, like a Catholic school, which I think they are great. I have my child in a public school. I think that the principal does a great job. But there is many things that I didn't like it, especially about behavior, and that private schools, they honestly, in my point of view, they do better job. At the same part, I don't think as of right now my child has a disability. I can see a very disadvantage on kids with disabilities that are schools that are private, they don't have, or they never have the funded because they don't want to have it, or whatever. It's more expensive. That public schools, honestly, I think about that, have better choices for kids with disabilities. But at the same time, I feel that they can never have a stable, or I don't know how to say it, they cannot favor all the kids. The kids that are not with disabilities are gonna be very in a bad situation because I have been a substitute teacher in many public schools. I mean, not many, but a few in Pinellas County schools. And honestly, I feel that the kids that they were not with disabilities, they were in a very disadvantaged position because the teachers have kids with with a lot of behavior and many needs that they cannot focus on the kids with not disabilities. So it's very crazy because, and then they start focusing a lot of the kids with so many things that, I cannot name, attention deficit, like autistic kids, and that is crazy. Like, I mean, at the end, the kids that they don't have disabilities are very disadvantaged because they have to be mixed together because of the laws, but I feel that sometimes it's not great neither for none of the kids. At the same time, if you put them in kids with disabilities, they are, they are not with the other kids. They are not inclusive. So I don't know, like I feel that there is some charter schools that they do great, that they really do better about behavior issues. And like you say, I don't remember your name. Even my kid is in a school with many grades, but some schools, if they mix the kids, I've been in many public schools, and the behaviors were, even in I don't want to say, in the school here, like I felt that the behaviors in fifth graders mixed in aftercare with a kindergarten or first grade, that's what I pulled my child out of there, because I didn't wanted to hear him coming with words that I never teach him, and I just pulled him out of there.
Yeah.
So, I think we have to see, and I would love to go to anything that you do, because it doesn't matter if it's public or private, as long as they do a great job, and a lot of teachers, they are amazing. The principal, Mr. Logan, I have respect. I think he does an amazing job.
Yeah.
And sometimes we are the parents too, that we are the ones that's supposed to teach our kids how to behave, and the teachers cannot do everything without the parents.
Right.
I think the parents, we have to do our job, and we cannot rely on the teachers only. Okay, but well, my question is like, I don't know, like, I think some schools, they do great job, and if it's not another choices, like more charter schools, I think as long as they do good job, it doesn't matter if it's public or charter
That's a good
schools,
point.
to me.
That's a
But
good point.
Let me say this, because I didn't say this. The charter schools, there are 5 approved charter companies. They are not in the state of Florida. They're mostly from New York, and I think it's Pittsburgh. They have no understanding of Florida law, none of that. The charters that we all know are not schools of hope. They can't be. They have to
these
be contracted.
These are perfect questions for a town hall style meeting. Thank you for bringing that up. Does anybody else want to be heard? Thank you. Come on, Annie.
Hi, all. Pammy, Gary, Florence, 296 Patty Drive. I came and talked to you guys about the older school. I'm right now very upset that this is happening now, because my son's in 8th grade, and I would have loved K through 8. I would have loved, because right now I'm paying $10,000 a year to put him in private school because I didn't have any other option. So I love this K through 8 idea for future parents that have kids. But my child is going to be done with 8th grade. My question is, I just want to quickly, high school. I do not like Eastlake. I do not like the busing all the way up to Tarpon Springs practically to get my kid to high school. So now I'm looking at more private schools than $20,000 because they get up higher when they get into high school. So my question is, we were zoned for Countryside High School a long time ago. We are 2 miles from Countryside High School, and we are like 7 or 8 miles from the other school. I would like to know about zoning for our high schools, because that's something I would like to look into as well. Again, because they're on the bus forever. They're outside at like 4:30 in the morning trying to catch a bus for 5:30 or whatever. It's just a lot of dark, a lot of danger. And yeah, when they turn 16, they can maybe drive if they're lucky enough to have a car. But that was my question. I really want to know about the high school from, okay,
Another
thank you.
thing to add to the discussion. Thank you, Pammy. Anybody else? Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your input tonight. Thank you, Eileen, for coming. We really appreciate you. Thank you.
And I look very forward.
We're going to be having a town hall.
All of you and the community. I think good things will come.
Thank you. Okay, now let's move on to agenda item number, actual 2. We're going to do this the same way that we did it at the last meeting. Our city manager is going to read our agenda item. We'll have the presentation from Stanbery. Then we'll have public comment, either for or against. And then we'll move into a motion or not, and council's questions or discussions. Okay, so with that, city manager.
All right, thank you, Mayor. This is the consideration of a revised conceptual plan for a city-owned property adjacent to and including City Hall by Stanbery Development. Representatives from Stanbery Development Group will present a revised concept plan based on the discussions of the November work session and the September 2025 City Council meeting. If the City Council desires to accept the revised conceptual plan, then a motion will be needed to accept the revised version and authorize the city manager to continue negotiations. The revised submitted conceptual plan is attached, and the submissions and more information can be found at downtownoldsmar.com.
Okay. Gentlemen.
Good evening. How is everybody?
Hanging in there.
Here we go. All right. Okay. So thank you for having us again. We've gone back. Welcome, Councilman Knapp. You weren't here last time.
Nope.
We've gone back and we've gone through our last discussion. This slide is called "We Heard You," right? So we've done a number of things that were part of a robust discussion at the last council meeting. We were able to increase retail to more than 20,000 square feet, as was asked. We increased the size of the community gathering area, or the plaza. The plaza is framed out a little bit better with the buildings, and also has a nice view corridor from Tampa Road and the State Route 580 on-ramp onto Tampa Road. There's a ton of space for community events, and we will have golf cart parking. In addition to that, you'll notice on the site plan here, the retail building that is on the corner of Tampa and Washington is a little bit larger and a little bit longer. So we tried to take into account the Tampa Road corridor aspect of this. That building will have a 2-story look to it, so we'll be in compliance with the Tampa Road corridor requirements. We then, if you recall, the last site plan had 2 residential buildings there. We made it 1 single building, and Councilman Graber, just to address your issue, the residential buildings here are 4 stories. We're able to reduce able to get rid of one of those buildings in doing that, which then allowed us a little bit extra space so we could help to provide additional park area, plaza area, and a little bit of retail.
Thanks for accusing me of only having one issue. I'll take that one home with me.
And then so the residential buildings are in that rust color, the retail buildings are in the blue, and then the plaza areas are in the orange. And you can see we have some plaza and seating areas around the retail building at the corner of Tampa and Washington, as well as a robust area around up at the point where State Road comes in or intersects with State Route 580. And that, as we'll show you here in a little bit, will be able to become a little bit larger. So the Tampa Road corridor, as I mentioned, we have buildings with a two-story look. We have additional patios and walkways around the retail buildings that help to comply there. The buildings are up on the road with limited parking visible from Tampa Road, and that the public space includes a big plaza, picnic area, gazebos, and the such. This is some of the, these slides are taken out of the ordinance. And so this slide, we show there's a retail building there on Tampa Road. It has kind of this faux second story look to it. Our retail buildings will have that as well. They'll be a little bit, they'll have additional height and an additional look to have that two-story presence. This, we chose this photo out of there just because, again, it shows, these, in this particular case, these are 5-story buildings, but it shows the buildings up on the road, up on Tampa, and our residential building would be up on Tampa. It would only be 4 stories, but would have this type of look, which was the hope when the Tampa Road corridor was conceived. And then this slide we chose because it highlights this little patio area, and that is acceptable within the Tampa Road corridor requirements. We have a seating area and plaza area like this at the corner of Washington and Tampa, surrounding our retail building there. And then we have a very, very large plaza area that sits out towards the point that we'll show you some renderings of. But it's, again, trying to be thoughtful about the Tampa Road corridor. Next, we'd like to talk about the residential experience. The residential buildings are 4 stories. We've decreased the residential footprint by going a little bit higher. We will include stoops and porches along State Street, as we had previously mentioned, for that nice kind of homey, more community look. And the leasing office, meeting rooms, fitness center, that will all face out to the plaza. So I'll show this on an upcoming slide, but that L that comes off of State Road towards Tampa, with the retail building over to the left of that as you're looking from State, that will have a little bit more of a commercial look on the lower level, kind of helping to frame out that plaza area. This gives you a little bit of a look. So this would be really kind of standing right out here on State in front of council chambers and looking down State. On the left, you see that would be a proposed retail or restaurant building, more than likely a restaurant. There's the big plaza area that we're talking about with the residential building in the background. The lower level of that building, again, right there along that plaza line, would be a little bit more commercial looking. It wouldn't have actual commercial space in it, but would be amenities for the residential building. You can see the public art that we have in the middle, and it would be just really great gathering space for the community. This is the view looking back down State Street. One of the concerns that was brought up at one point in time was the look of the end cap of that building and how that would look, and that would look finished. And so we wanted to share a slide here that shows you that we'd have balconies. We've had thoughtful space there, and that building would be finished on that end. It wouldn't just be a plain wall. And then these are just some pictures of some stoops and some feel-good photos of what the residential experience would look like. Going back to the plan, we want to focus on the retail experience. So again, the retail buildings are the 2 blue buildings. The building up on Tampa and Washington is 15,000 feet. The building that is in the Point and Plaza area is a little over 6,000 feet, so we're at 21,000 and some change. The public plaza that building will more than likely be a full-service restaurant. Maybe it'll have an additional space or two next to it, chocolate shop, ice cream, something probably complimentary and something that would work well with the public plaza. The retail that's at the corner of Tampa and Washington could likely include a coffee shop or a cafe, quick service restaurant, fitness studio, hair salon, those types of uses. This is a picture from Tampa and Washington, a slight aerial view. That building right there in the forefront is the proposed retail building and gives you a little bit of context as to how that would look with the residential buildings in the background. This is, again, the same view that you'd seen previously with the retail building up in the, on the left-hand side. Here we're showing that as a tavern. And then this is the view into the plaza from Tampa Road or the on-ramp from 580. So again, you get that view into the rather large patio area. There's picnic tables here for dining. There could be food trucks, clearly community events, or just meeting with friends for lunch on a Tuesday. And then these are some just feel-good photos of what the retail experience could feel like. So now we have the public areas experience. We have a large expandable public plaza. We think that this can be a hub for, we don't think, we know that this can be a hub for all the community activities. So whether that's the Christmas tree lighting, whether that's the Saturday market, whether that could be for the classic car show or the fun run or whatever it all is, this plaza can be where everybody gathers for all of these activities. There's a possibility that these activities could stretch down State Street. So again, the public plaza could really be the hub of that activity, but State Street could be thoughtfully closed off between Park and Washington, and that could be an expansion of this public space and be very walkable. So this space includes gazebo, picnic area, there's a dog park, again, we'll have golf cart parking, and then there's a walkway connecting the retail space out at the point with the retail space out of Tampa and Washington. There'd be a nice, thoughtful sidewalk that would connect the two through that area. Again, here's the public plaza. This slide here shows how the public plaza could be expanded. So if you're looking at the blue square retail building in the upper left, what we would propose is the parking that sits between the plaza and the residential building, that parking could likely be curbless so that it could be a natural walking extension of the public plaza. So at various times, on a regular Tuesday morning, that could be parking for a potential resident who wants to go and look at an apartment as a possible place to live. But on the Saturday of the classic car show, that could be closed off. That area could be expanded. You could have food trucks there. You could have the snow cone machine. You could have cotton candy. You could have gathering for people, and that as they enjoy the activity. So this is some things you could have, obviously the choir, Santa Claus, other events on the public plaza. Chalk walk.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Yeah.
This just is another perspective. So this shows the public plaza as you're looking at it from Park Boulevard. In this particular scene, you can see we've picked this time of year. There's a Christmas tree in the middle of the plaza for the Christmas tree lighting. The palm trees are wrapped with Christmas lights. It's festive and it's thoughtful. It could be, you could have that whole thing shut down for Santa's arrival, let's say. And if you look over on the right-hand side, in the parking lot area below the residential building, you'll see food trucks, you'll see food tents, you could have vendors. You could have all sorts of nice amenities for the community, hot cider, hot chocolate, whatever you need for that event. And this, just again, this shows how you could shut down State Street and shows that section of State Street in orange where you could have the classic cars lined up along State Street, but you could also have people gathering in the public space and it could all flow very naturally. You could have the Saturday market lining State Street. And again, it could all be fully incorporated and very continuous. Oh, the one other thing that I forgot is in the last meeting, somebody had asked how big the public space was. The public space just on the point, just the plaza, if with the expanded parking area, is 2 acres. So 1/4 of all the land goes to that. That does not include State Street, obviously. It doesn't include the patio or dining areas around the retail building at Tampa and Washington. So it does dedicate a pretty sizable amount of space for the general public's use. And our proposal on that would be that within the development agreement, we would work with the city to have an agreement where the city, we would encourage the city, we would want the city to hold events there, to use that space, to shut down that parking lot on third Thursdays or what have you, and really allow this to be part of the community. And as we stood here a couple months ago and said, we don't know that 8 acres and this project will be enough to be able to be a whole downtown for Oldsmar. But we do feel really strongly that this project can be the beginnings and the most critical component and piece to what could be a really nice downtown Oldsmar. And that's just, this project could kick off more development along State Street. You could see different uses coming to State Street. The closure of the road and having public events along State Street, I think, would go a long way in really allowing the community to feel like they have something that's theirs here. These are some slides from the run. Again, it could start or finish on State Street. You could have families gathering in the plaza waiting for their loved ones to cross the finish line. The classic cars that we've talked about lining State Street with drinks and refreshments. And thank you very much. That is our presentation for tonight, and we'd be happy to take questions.
Okay, so at this time, I want to open up the public forum. If you do want to speak, if you haven't filled out one of those white cards with your address, if you could just be sure to give your name and address when you come up. And we're not doing this in any particular order, so if you want to start on this side of the room, and if you change your mind, I'll come back to that side of the room, but please come up and share any public thoughts on this side of the room.
You know I'm coming again. All right.
Hi, Pammy.
So my question to you is, where do the residents in Oldsmar park? Like you were saying, close all that down and make it more of a public place and whatever. But where do we park? Like, where do we park? Where do the residents of the apartment buildings park?
Before you get started, we're just going to have just to us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if we feel like the question needs to be answered, the council can direct those
Okay.
questions to them. But
So parking.
We want to have the interaction with you.
Talk to me about parking.
Okay. I'm taking notes, Pammy. I'm taking notes.
I think, even though I wasn't here at the last meeting, they took really good notes and then came back at the end and answered questions.
That did happen. I'm going to do it just slightly differently because I want the council to have a motion on the floor before we start asking them questions.
enough.
I think that would be more appropriate. But yes, go on. Sorry.
Okay, so the parking issues,
back into
and then where's City Hall? We never saw City Hall in this plan. Where is our City Hall? And does this stay the same, like our council chamber and the City Hall right here? Does it stay the same, or is this getting revamped to be brought into this new updated City Hall? I mean, downtown city.
Good questions. I have answers.
Rhonda, any more?
Okay, if you have to come up to the microphone for us. Please, please, please. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to reach out.
Asking and I concerned so
And
bad.
can you have your, you gotta say your name
Hi,
and
how you
address.
doing? My name is Maria
Yes.
Barreiro, Maria Eugenia Barreiro, and I live in
Forest Lake condominiums for 21 years. 134 Sycamore Lane, number CS in Charlie, Oldsmar, Florida 34677.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Okay, and concerning when I saw the public in the forest in the Facebook, the post about that, I wrote to Eric Seidel, and I concerning right now too about the parks, the activity we used to have it all the time for many years in Ario Park, where we can do with the 800 people living in the apartment. We don't have a parking even to go into the parks. We don't have a parking. You know that. When we go into the park, it's kind of hard. We had to, in all the neighborhoods, all the neighbors, the houses, the street, the small streets, to parking over there to find their parking. That's is concerning. 800 people in this area, and by my house, the Forest Lake, the traffic is horrible in the morning, in the afternoon, every time. Now with the 800 people coming from the Forest Lake, for Tampa Road, 580, everywhere is that, and more 800 people over here, we not can go out of the house. We not can go anywhere. I had to stop in my house, and I had to ride the bike to going anywhere because I can drive with the car.
Maria, I might have missed something when you were talking. Where is the 800 people coming from?
From the building is going to be 240 apartments.
Okay.
Plus, it's not going to be one person for the apartment.
Okay, so you're
It's going
you're
to be
estimating.
at
Okay.
least 400, 800 people. That is too much for this small town.
Okay.
I love Oldsmar, and I feel like I'm from Colombia. In my town in Colombia is the same thing. I know the mayors. I know everybody everywhere you're going. That's it with 800 people. And the renters is different because right now in my condos is a lot of renters, and thanks God in my building is eight condos for building. The Forest Lake condos. And I'm so glad, and thanks God I have good neighbors, very nice neighbors in my building. But the rest of the building is disaster right now with a lot of stuff. Doing the people is not on the buildings. They not on the place, and 240 apartments, no, this is disaster. That is going to be, we don't have a place to share with the people. Even the park or Ario Park, that is very nice activities you're doing forever. We're going to parking the people when they going over there. No, it's not parking. It's not parking. It's not parking for everybody. It's not parking to going over there to enjoy the activities. The family we are in Oldsmar. And disagree completely. I'm sorry to tell you, it's very nice project, but I disagree completely, 100% with this project over here. And the streets, we don't have I had to use by or not going anywhere because right now the traffic is so bad, especially right now when it's the time for the snowbirds, it's a lot of traffic too. It's a lot of people coming from all over in Florida, enjoy the weather over here, and plus 800 people in our town, oh, please come on. No. I completely disagree with that. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry with you. It's a very nice project, but you need to find there another place to build.
Okay. Is there anybody else I wasn't necessarily finished over here. We can, okay. Anybody else on this side of the room? Yes, sir. Hello.
My name is Totio Ivanov. I live at 100 Shore Drive West. So a few concerns, like Chair actually started parking, like we saw all about like the 2 acres of public area. Well, how many parking spots are there? Because again, 240 condos. We're looking at nearly 500 cars just from the people that will move in and be there. So as of right now in the morning, because I drive a lot for working, sometimes takes 2 times for the stoplight to change the St. Pete Drive and 580.
Okay.
And that intersection is nasty. I mean, I'm sorry, but it just, it needs a left turn lane with a signal at least. And with adding more people, there will be, St. Pete, I'm expecting, honestly, if that happens, St. Pete is going to be back all the way to the church. Because having, at the same time, again, and it's a good idea maybe to do the school bigger. However, currently you guys have the car line on St. Pete Drive. And then you're going to have another 400 or 500 people going to work, assuming they work, or coming from work, pretty much using those streets because the way that the Y, I mean, if you guys, you can put the slide, the way that the Y is coming from 580 and Tampa Road, right there narrows to one lane.
Yes.
If you're coming down Tampa Road, try to do Washington. Good luck. Well, now, multiply this by the amount of residents there trying to get through there. It's calling for a lot of accidents. Same thing going by the library, the other end of St. Pete Drive. Same thing. I mean, it backs up on Sunday after church day. So that's the other thing. I don't think, honestly, as romantic it sounds to have more like tax income, we don't have the infrastructure like road-wise. Even as of right now, it's bad. Like, again, I don't know how many people drive in Oldsmar by that intersection, 580 by Jack Willis. That's a bad spot. There is kids crossing on one side,
Yes.
barely making left turn. At the same time, the way it is designed, the right lane turns at the same time as the left turn. You cannot tell because people drive fast coming straight. So sometimes you think that they're going to turn, they go. That's a mess. And again, bringing that many people, because honestly, I see a big part of those people living there, coming park, turning right on St. Pete Drive and getting out of there. That calls for problems. I mean, it's already a problematic because again, and by the way, making the school bigger, it means a longer car line on St. Pete Drive at the same time. I mean, I'm sorry. It's just.
I think a lot of us parents don't love car line already, yeah.
But no, my point is
Yes.
bringing all of that extra traffic, adding more classes to the school on a same street that basically barely handles what is it right now. That's my main concern, basically safety. And again, everybody says like how many, nobody told us how many parking spots are in there, what's the expected amount of cars from the residents. And also again, when we have events, because okay, I can walk to there, but the rest of Oldsmar is gonna be driving. Same exact concern about. So again, I love Oldsmar, and honestly, I love it as a small town and being quiet. And as right now, as is, it's still a lot of stuff to be addressed. And at the same time, let's take care first of the current residents of Oldsmar. I mean, we're already here, we live here, and we deal with a lot of stuff that needs to be improved as is. And again, that new project by the library is already happening. However, nothing happens to get the traffic addressed in anything. And the moment people start moving in there, it's gonna be too late or harder to be addressed at that point than before people move in, basically. That's my thoughts. Because if you look at that project, and then the slides are not there, but anyway, you can try to approach that complex, it's difficult. Like there is not a stoplight at the end of this street. Adding this is gonna back up traffic, then you having 2 lanes going in one and merging with Tampa Road. It's gonna be beautiful. So that's pretty much my concern. You guys have to kind of consider actually being able to get around about the people that are already living here. And thank you for your time. That was my concern. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I forgot to tell you about the 50 townhouses you're building too.
Grace?
Grace Babukas, 302 Park. Couple of quick questions. First of all, can we afford a traffic flow study of Oldsmar? Because when I try to leave Aldi, it's a nightmare. Right? Oh, it's a horrible. Number two, since parking is an issue and concern for many people, what will be the ability for visitors to this plaza to use parking, say, for the chamber, the businesses that have parking lots? There's tow-away signs everywhere. Will we be able to talk to those businesses to use their parking spots on the weekend? I know during the week that would not work, but the weekend will be the busy time, I think, right? Okay. My other question is, we want the ice cream shops and the taverns, God, I'd love a tavern, and all of that. Will the city have any kind of restriction to prevent medical offices from coming in and snatching up all the retail? Because then the ice cream shop doesn't have a prayer if they're competing. I want to have a beer, not a colonoscopy, okay? So I think a restriction would be good. And the last is not a question, it's an observation. I know the horse has probably left the barn on this, but the facade is just kind of very modernistic. And I was hoping for something with a little bit more of a vintage, thank you, old hometown feel. Soften it up, I don't know, tapered pillars or something to make it not quite industrial modern. I know this is like the new fad, but no, I don't really like it. Other than that, I think the layout is good.
Thank you so much, Grace. Is there anybody else on this side of the room that wanted to address the council? Yes, sir. Come on up. Good to see you, David.
David Llewellyn, 212 Bengal. The last presentation I listened to on some television, I don't know where, but it seemed that Councilman Graber was saying, you know, if we keep pushing things down, it's not going to look very nice, and you're not going to have any public space at all. The original presentation, we had a parking deck, and I believe we had 250 units, and about the same amount of retail as we have now. This current plan, all I really see is a couple of lots that have some possible use and a lot of on-grade parking. And I think that we would all be better served, with a couple of exceptions, if we went back to the original plan. You know, there were 3-story buildings, there was a parking deck, there was plenty of open area. Maybe there was a discussion as to how you could get to it and what it should be. But the parking deck, which I'm gathering they're going to say is too expensive now, is the only way that we're going to really get to accomplish everything that everybody wants. And some parking for us as well, you know. And if everybody's correct that you're going to need 2 people in every apartment with cars so that they can get a job, keep jobs so that they can pay the rent, then you're going to have a different factor for parking, which was not what we were talking about last time in the presentation. So I hope we can keep these people here. Although if it was me, I would probably hop on a plane and run away. But thank you.
Thank you, David. It's good to see you. Anybody else on this side of the room wanting to address the council? Yes.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Holly Grazadillo. I live at 730 Wellington Court. My question is, what could we do to add more green space? And one thing that I noticed is, could we, the plaza area that you were mentioning where there could be, we could close off the parking, could that just be like a green space area or no parking there so that there could be more area for maybe some grass where families could go and throw a football or something like that and still accommodate the other goals of the project? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anybody else sitting anywhere in the room? Yes, Ms. Rhonda.
Rhonda Coy, 317 Country Club Drive, Oldsmar. One of the concerns I have is with the 82 spaces, the townhomes that we have over here next to the library and the 240 supposed apartments here downtown. I'm wondering how we're going to fill them. Was there demographics done? Because when I think back of how long the Galleria sat here empty and all of State Street empty for so many years, what guarantees us that people are actually going to come here and build in this, especially when they have traffic right on the outside of it going zoom, zoom, zoom by them? That is a noise factor, quite a noise factor. But, and parking in Oldsmar has been, and will always be an issue. It doesn't matter, it's always like, let's build it, they will come, but they just don't have any place to park when they get here. It's in any one of the parks and recs areas or the recreation center over on Pine, almost anywhere the parking is a huge issue. So if you have 240 homes, they all have 2 cars, that's 880 parking spots, right? No, 480 parking spots that are needed. So when you come down to buy or to go to the plaza, and then on top of that, you've got the people in the retail shops that work, so they're going to have a place to park. Then you're going to have visitors, they're going to have a place to park. Then you're going to have the people who really want to come here and maybe shop and have that ice cream or beer, and they have to have a place to park. So, I mean, is it really going to hold the parking that we need without going over into this side of the street or even the street parking that is needed for our regular daily business? Because, you know, we use a lot of parking along here, so. And I don't know that you can't shut a street down when you don't have enough parking to begin with, so I don't know. That's just some of my comments, but I'm really concerned about where the people are going to come, what age groups they're going to be, and how are we going to get them filled so that we can maybe benefit from them, the extra people, but I don't think we're going to. But personal opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Rhonda. Anybody else anywhere in the room? Hey, Ginger.
Hi, Ginger Tadaszewski, 303 Park Boulevard. Just a quick question for you guys, and then I'm going to tell you something you never heard before. So we saw the rendering, and just picture yourself driving down Tampa Road. What about this complex screams Oldsmar? Is there something that identifies Oldsmar in this complex? Because no offense, but it looks like 5 million other apartment buildings in 5 million other cities across the United States. There is nothing that makes this different. Now, that being said, I want to tell you a story you probably never heard before. Back, I want to say about a year ago, when we had the thing at the library, they were there and the other developer was there, and they each sat at different ends of the room with their presentations, and we all sat at the tables and filled out our little cards. And I was sitting at my table filling out my card, and this man walks up to me and sits down. And I know him, right? I think I might have seen him here once. I know he's never gotten up and spoken. And he sat down next to me and he said, "I have a solution that will make everybody happy." And I'm like, what is it? And he explained to me what it was. And it includes apartments, which I'm not a fan of apartments. And he took his little paper and he drew it out. And I'm going, oh my God, you're right. Everyone would love this. He was a problem solver, right? And after one of the meetings, I was talking to one of you guys and I explained it. I guess I didn't explain it well because we have this, but if you're driving along Tampa Road and you saw what that man laid out, you would go, oh my God, I gotta stop there. That's what we want. We know, I don't know if you guys know, but I know we're gonna get an apartment building. We're gonna get an apartment building. You guys know that too. What kind of an apartment building? Something 8,000 other cities have? Or are we gonna do something special with it? Because if anyone wants to know what this man told me, I'd be happy to show it to you. Don't settle for what they're doing. It is the same as every other city in the United States. Everybody has one of these. Please, take time and look around and shop. Make these guys do something. I showed it to them. They understood, but maybe I didn't explain myself well enough. I don't know. But please don't settle for this. I know we're going to get an apartment building. Don't settle for this. There's nothing that says Oldsmar about this at all. That's all I got. Thanks.
Is there anybody else on this side of the room?
This is just my personal opinion. You know, I love this country. I'm not from here, but now I'm a citizen. I love the place that I live. You know, this is my Disneyland. You know, I think that many people in the world, we are not fortunate, and I feel like Oldsmar is, for me, it's like, I mean, like a heaven in earth, honestly. I'm very grateful for this country, from this city, for the people. Honestly, like I feel community with these people. It's like my family. I mean, I don't have my parents, my sisters. It's hard to live without them. Totios too is from a different country, and for us, this is home. This is kind of like the pilgrims that came from a different country that wanted to worship God, like a lot of things that I don't see in my country. I have them here in Oldsmar. And I feel my country is overpopulated, and I feel that this is like heaven in earth for me. And I know that, you know, it's always economy, always money. And at the same time, I know that this land is being, you know, it has to produce. But I don't know what is the idea that the lady say that it was maybe, like she say, eventually they're gonna build something, we like it or not. And you know, and it has to be some profitable, but maybe it can be something that it can have, you know, like that the cars can have places for parking lot. I mean, right now the library, they use it with like trains for Disney, you know, like the little cars. I mean, with these developments, I don't think that you can have like the little cars, like a golf cars. I mean, with all of those people, it's not gonna be possible. Eventually, yes, I mean, I hate the idea of big things like it's gonna happen, but maybe they can do something with less people, you know, that you know, you cannot make anybody happy, and you have to do what you have to do, but maybe not that many, not that much, and keep it with lower population. And if we want bigger things, we go to the Niran to use their parking spots, or, you know, we go to Safety Harbor, that is not far. And I don't know, I like Oldsmar little, and I love it like that. And I hope that my Disneyland is still like that for a long time, but who knows, hopefully. It's just a personal opinion. Thank you for letting me talk.
Of course, thank you. Anybody else want to address the council? Hey, Nicole.
Nicole Mackin. I just have a couple questions. Somebody already asked, but I'm really wondering, where is City Hall going? Because it's not going to seem like a downtown without City Hall downtown. That just seems to be the center of everything in Oldsmar and where people kind of gather for different events. And I think we're losing that, and nobody has mentioned where it's going. Where the entrance and exits are going to be for that complex for when they close down State Street, because I don't think they're going to be able to enter and exit off of Tampa Road. So is everybody going to be coming out of Washington? I mean, it just seems like for the people who live there, that's going to be a nightmare. And it's so difficult to try to get State Street closed for something. I don't know. I mean, it's not as easy as they're kind of making it sound. If we want to have some food trucks and have some events, I mean, I think it's a big process to try to close down State Street. Also, just wondering why the focus seems to be on the apartments and not on the community space. Because to me, looking at it, I mean, it's beautiful, but, you know, I wouldn't feel like I'm going to an Oldsmar event. I'd feel like I'm going to an event at this apartment complex. And I hear people say that they would like, you know, downtown Oldsmar to be like downtown Safety Harbor and Dunedin, but they don't have huge apartment complexes in their downtown. They have gazebos, grassy areas, 1- and 2-story buildings with, you know, small business and restaurants on the first floor that draw people in. And Safety Harbor has gotten so big. I mean, we've only lived here about 20 years. Everybody that I knew that lived in Safety Harbor when we moved here has left because it's lost the small town feel. They've all moved out of Safety Harbor because of that. And I don't want that to happen to Oldsmar and to lose the people that make Oldsmar what it is. And I was also wondering, like, why not wait and see how the library project goes, what the traffic impacts are, before making a huge decision like this, and maybe have another town hall with more of an opportunity for people to give feedback before having a vote on this. That's it. Thanks.
Anybody else first?
Has everybody who wanted to speak spoken? You really sure? Forever hold your peace. 1 minute.
I was listening to a story about somewhere in Tampa where there was flooding. And they interviewed people that lived there, and they said, we never had flooding in this area ever until they built that apartment complex over there. So here's my question. I'm sure that there's been civil engineering surveys for water and flooding and all of that. But if there is flooding after the apartments are built, who pays for the remediation?
Okay. Is there anybody else in the room who wanted to say anything? Okay. So at this point, I feel like the council could probably ask some of those questions of the developer rather than last time how we had the developer answer those questions. I think we can ask the questions that were pertinent. So at this time, for the purposes of discussion, the chair would entertain a motion to accept the revised version.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. I'm not going to necessarily call on anybody, but there were a lot of questions asked, and I know a lot of us up here have the answers. Anybody want to begin?
Councilmember Swager's motions.
Yeah, I'll begin.
Okay.
And I do not have all the answers.
Okay, well, that's okay.
But thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I heard a consistent theme of parking concerns, and I agree. It's something that is a concern of mine, but I know that those studies will be done. Traffic studies will be done, and if I'm wrong in anything I say, please correct me. But, you know, I think the solution to the parking issue would be a parking garage, like the first revision, but.
And we're back to that.
But understand there's economics behind that may or may not allow that to be feasible. So I'm open to that change. I know this is a concept, right? This is going to change, what we've all, you know, been presented tonight. Once these studies are done, the design's going to change, no doubt. So if it changes while including a parking garage, so be it. And so I'm going to ask a question to the developers that they can answer later, but, you know, just, I'll put the question out there. If this wasn't, if this whole process wasn't being conducted in the manner it is, meaning the city was just selling the raw land with no development agreement, no density incentives, none of that, my question to you as the developers, from the developer's perspective, what would you build? And I'm going to make the assumption it would be whatever the code allows, which is 6-story apartments or buildings. So if that is the case, and I know we've pinballed so many times from 6 stories, 5 stories, 3 stories, 4 stories, but that might be the solution. It's just a smaller footprint, higher buildings. And if there's more revenue or incentive from an economics perspective, maybe there is money to now fund the parking garage. So just kind of putting that out there, knowing that the design can and will change. Parking for community events, again, this is a bigger issue, not just for this site, not just for these 2 blocks, but definitely something for us to consider maybe in the future at Ari Olds Park, whether it's going back to median parking or dedicating a space of Ari Olds Park to increase actual parking down there for those events, because those events are important to everybody. So yes, having more residents at this site, at the library site, that will create a parking challenge for Celebrate Oldsmar as an example. There was a question about water management. Again, those studies are going to be performed at a later date from the developers. So let me just check my notes to see. I'd say a much more enjoyable presentation this time, more energy, and the renderings were much nicer than last meeting. So I think that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Councilmember Knapp, did you?
Sure. I got a few comments / questions. First of all, thank you guys for coming back. As you guys brought up, I wasn't able to be here at your last meeting. I think I shared it prior council meeting, pretty much had a similar reaction and sentiment to the last version. So appreciate you guys continuing to listen and adjust as we go along through this process. I don't think we'll ever get to something that is perfect. I appreciate the feedback from you, Ginger, of there is potentially a perfect position out here, but in my nearly 6 years of service, I don't think we can ever find something that makes everyone happy. I think we've all probably learned that. That's very idealistic, and I do love it. But the certain things that I'm kind of interested in is, and these will be questions I'll throw out, and you guys can answer them in a little bit. I don't know if you have any sort of estimate as to, based on the current proposal, as far as the mix of units, between studio, 1, 2, 3 bedroom apartments, and based on that mix, then where you estimate the total peak population that could be as part of your proposal. I think that's something that it doesn't necessarily make or break our vote tonight, but by the time it comes to consider final adoption or approval of a development agreement, I think we would definitely want to know it by then. One other thing to point out, and you may already know this, but right now our city code doesn't allow for food trucks just to be out and about. And we have people clamoring for that, and I think this council probably has a general consensus that we support that. So we need to make those changes. Definitely love the idea of food trucks. Maybe there's kiosks that could be an option instead. The thing in there, he did have a little food truck. I definitely have concerns about the parking. I did try to do a quick count while listening to citizens' comments and got to about 400 spaces on the drawing. So that definitely seems a little low when you factor in employees parking, the citizens that live there, and the citizens that would be frequenting there. You probably get pretty jammed up pretty quick on just a regular night versus a Friday night, Saturday night special event. So I think we need to figure out how that goes, whether that's a deck or reconstituting the layout. Would be nice to figure out an improvement to get more spaces, or figure out how that all works. I think I can probably touch on City Hall, but I almost would feel more comfortable if the city manager could maybe scope us out on that, Mayor. So I'll defer to you and the city manager for that, because it's still very early in terms of what happens for a new City Hall / emergency operations center. This side of Tampa Road is is not ideal versus the other side of Tampa Road for a future storm-hardened building. So we have to be smart about that. It would be great to have a city hall in the mix of everything, but is that the best use of that function of our city government? Sorry, one other thing related to kind of the whole unit count and stuff. I know it's probably still early too, but what might be the anticipated rent range for the apartments would be something of interest, I believe, for the citizens as well as this council. Stormwater. We currently are working on a stormwater master plan, and we're waiting for a report for that. And that's taking into account everything that's in existence today. So not even what may be built in the future, depending on what that is. But obviously, whatever does get developed is going to have to incorporate to our existing system, and whatever improvements get made so people aren't impacted by new development impacting already existing structures. I don't know the question of who pays for that. That'd be a Tom question. But, or other lawyers on the council. Total deflection. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't, definitely would be curious, I think a lot of people in this room, if you have a number of kind of estimate people in there and estimated cars, maybe it's too early, but it's definitely something we're gonna want to know about in the future.
Okay.
That's what I got for now.
Valerie, do you have some questions, comments, input?
No, I have questions. I have a ton of them. I wrote numbers on them so I wouldn't lose them. I'm taking like copious notes. Some of them you guys already touched on a little bit. But in the interest of compromise, we talked a lot about compromise at the last meeting that we did. I do see compromises here. And so I think that there is a majority. It's likely that this is going to get voted forward. You guys seem to like the project. So I just want to make sure we're doing the best for the public. Can you, when you go back up, can you show us where the golf cart parking is? I want to see like which part of this diagram that's on. Somebody brought up a concern in regard to medical offices and the type of retail we might get. Is it your intention to possibly build out some of the spaces to encourage the type of retail that we're telling you that we want? I know that when new businesses come in, they want to retrofit it with all their stuff. But restaurants need kitchens. Are you planning on putting in some of that for them to try to gear it towards that? Or is it just going to be an empty box? Whoever comes in retrofits it to what they want. Okay, concerns about the gathering in public space. I was very happy to see an increase in the 2-acre public space. Can you speak to the intentions that you have for an agreement with the city to allow use of that space? So I think the public is going to have a lot of questions about what rights does the public have to that space? How many events are we going to be allowed to hold? And I know some of this gets negotiated in a management agreement or development agreement or stuff down the line. But if you can just maybe speak to what your intentions are. I know you guys have some conversations, probably have an idea of that. It would be really helpful for the public to know that. I think somebody already mentioned parking. Same question. How many actual parking spaces are there? And based off of that, what portion of those will be reserved strictly for people living in the apartments? Is there any, I know that there's a public art piece that was kind of in the renderings. What is your intentions as far as collaborating with Oldsmar on that art piece? And would that be something that maybe the public, somebody mentioned what about this project says Oldsmar. Maybe that's something that the public can collaborate on to make it feel like it says Oldsmar. And then with the map that's up right now, having State Street closed like this, actually like that idea, and bringing that as part of our downtown, collaborating on events. What is the intention as far as where people would enter and exit? Would it be Park Boulevard? This, been seeing this might be putting cart before the horse, but it is a concern. Are we using Park Boulevard to get out to 580? Are we using Washington? Are we using both? Is that going to be a complaint that you have down the line from the apartment residents that can't get out now, and they're going to feel kind of like some of the people in Safety Harbor who are like, there's too many events, you know, and they feel like they can't get out, and they're going to be asking for less down the line. I think that's it.
All set?
Yeah. Did you have any questions?
Yeah, I do. Thank you, Mayor.
Or if you have.
First question, how dare you? No,
Or if you wanted to address a question of the public that you might have the answer to.
Understood. Welcome back, guys. So 21,800 square feet of retail. I do want to know how many spaces, retail spaces that would be. Is it 7? Is it 8? Now also, we were discussing how do you get the right kind of retail in there. I know that your firm is quite adept at attracting the type of retail that we want. In terms of how can we make sure it's this or that or this, I'm sure during the negotiation process, there's going to be discussions of potential for restrictive covenants if that's the right way to go. There's concern there because if we put a restrictive covenant in there, then we might not get anything, right? So it's, well, this has to be a restaurant. Well, no restaurant wants to come here. Well, then we're just sitting with this retail space, but we can't change it because we have a restrictive covenant. So those are very difficult decisions if everybody understands that. In terms of the layout, I so appreciate the revised plan. And that you said, sure, we'll go back to the drawing board. That means a lot to me. What David Llewellyn was discussing earlier, and if everybody wasn't here, we've been kind of teasing me about it. We had discussed the marshmallow effect. So imagine you have a marshmallow in your hand. What happens when you push the marshmallow down?
It goes
You have less space in your hand. So you actually want to build up. Now, with the Tampa Bay corridor, so that we have those rules, so that's why that's 2 stories of retail, so everybody understands that. Now, in terms of parking, there's going to be studies for parking. In terms of traffic, in terms of stormwater, all of those things follow this discussion. What I would like everybody to understand is what we're voting on tonight is a concept plan, which means this is the concept. Is this enough for the council to authorize the city manager to continue those negotiations, to essentially start moving forward to where we can have those further discussions with the public? We can guess until we're blue in the face as to what might or might not happen or what problems we're going to run into. But I believe there's still, until shovels in the ground, it might be another 14 steps.
I think so.
Takes a minute, okay? So this isn't the last time we're all going to be talking about it, I promise. It's something I've been dealing with every minute I've been on council, and that goes back to 2021.
Good times.
Now, I do want to say that we can't ask a developer to say, take the mindsets of 15,000 people, dump them all into ChatGPT, and spit out exactly something that everybody is going to love, okay? They listened to everybody from the workshops that we had, to the workshops that they had with the citizens, to the council meetings that we've had. This gives us green space. Would I like the dog park in a different spot? Yeah, because when I look at where the dog park is, if you guys see that kind of shape in the middle of the parking lot there, that signals to me that that's for the residents of the apartments, okay? So if there was another place to put that, but that's a minor tweak. If the biggest concern is how are we gonna park all of this, guys, how long have we been talking about this? We've had much bigger concerns than that, but on multiple occasions tonight, it was parking, 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 parking. How are we gonna park it? How are we gonna park it? What are we gonna do with 480 cars? Like, you know, but all of that comes up because, you know, you also have to discuss day parts and who's gonna be here when and what days of the week. And when you're just dealing with a concept plan, you can hypothesize and guess and speculate all you want. Those questions can't possibly be answered right now. Not at this stage of the game. So you know, I think the focus from the public, especially Grace, is she wants a beer, not a colonoscopy. I think that's a fair statement to make, right?
Actually, a nice little summary.
It really is, yeah.
Kinda,
I mean,
yeah.
it's just, we've been waiting so long that if the retail is of such a nature where it doesn't really activate the community, it might be useful, right? Everybody needs to go to the doctor, everybody needs to go to a dentist. But is that building the community up so we have somewhere we go? But you had 8 acres to play with, and you heard community space, and you took a quarter of that acreage and have it situated to where the community can use it. And that's a lot. So I do appreciate that. It's just a matter of, if the motion is to accept this revised plan and continue negotiations so we can get to the next step, and then maybe something comes up where it's like, oop, didn't see that coming, we don't like it. But as it stands right now, I'm fine with moving forward. That's all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, a couple of things that I wanted to address, just in the questions that we were asked. Or I can defer, do you want to address the question about City Hall, or do you want me to give my weird version of it?
I can address it.
Okay, go ahead. She'll say it better and cleaner than I will.
She's got all the aspects.
So, as we've talked about before, City Hall needs a lot of capital investment. As a matter of fact, the parking lot is closed because it's too expensive to replace the parking lot without knowing the outcome of this plan. So we have a building that doesn't meet floodplain requirements. The glass has been, in the front, has been very hard to get quotes for at all to replace. It's leaking as well. So we also have a couple of other things that we need to consider. We have a municipal services center on Commerce Street that also is in need of major investment. It's also very, it's small in its design and doesn't really meet the needs. And so most of the building actually is metal. And so when we were doing some wind mitigation surveys, the consultant actually told us that they didn't need to do that building, that it was so vulnerable that there would be no reason to spend money for a wind mitigation survey. So we also have a third concern, is that we have no current dedicated area for emergency operations center. So we have.
What is an emergency operations center?
An emergency operations center is where we deploy to serve the public during storm events.
So where you sleep on cots and eat spaghetti when there is a storm?
That is correct.
Okay, got it.
So we don't have a place for that. That's in a hardened structure to keep our staffing safe. So the city council put money into this year's budget to look at site location, really to look at that MSC site to see how we could build a hardened structure that would serve for governmental operations. And that would include relocating, they still have to do their studies, but it would be envisioned that City Hall services, a lot of them are relocated to Commerce. The only visitors that we get to City Hall on a regular basis, except for storms, is to utility billing. And that would still maybe have a downtown location. And so that money's in the budget to look at all of these issues.
So that's why, for example, right now, the front doors of City Hall on a daily basis don't open. People go through utility billing.
That was correct until like this week. We have volunteers that are manning the front, but only because we have volunteers.
We do have the
If
art
they're not
show.
there, we close it, and then people are now entering through utility billing because that is our need. And last week we had, I get like the list, we had 17 visitors to City Hall for the week that were cataloged through utility billing. So other than utility billing, it was 7, including all the people coming from permitting for storm-related activities.
Okay.
So we don't have a lot of visitation.
Okay. So in the interim, we wouldn't necessarily have to demolish City Hall, like at some point in this process, but that would be a part of the discussion as we move forward. But yes, so to all those who are asking, yes, City Hall would in some concept have to be relocated, either temporarily and then potentially permanently. And maybe conjoined with a different type of use. And if you don't know where the Municipal Services Building is, think of Goodwill on Commerce and the Jason Nastasi's place. Express Auto and the learning experience, like the kindergarten VPK, down that street. It's on the left-hand side back there. Okay, other questions? Something to point out, the Galleria is not empty. It was for a period of time. It is no longer empty. The only empty space on State Street that is currently unoccupied and not leased is the lower floor of the Shim Spine building, which is located at the intersection of State Street and St. Pete Drive, directly across from the Galleria. Everything else is leased out currently, including a cool little gym next to Casbah Cafe, which I feel like is kind of counterproductive, but anyway. As far as, what's the guarantee that people are gonna come here? Well, that's a fair question. I sure hope that these gentlemen right here believe that people are gonna come, because otherwise they wouldn't be sinking $70 million into the project. Same thing with, the library project along St. Pete Drive. We went through an extensive process with the folks for the library development. They went through the type of technical analysis that we all want to see right now, but we're not quite at that juncture yet. But as far as whether or not the project will be successful, we put in place, I believe with the library project, a performance bond, so that, if the deal fell apart, city gets the land back or the money back. Not trying to be negotiating for the city manager. I do not speak for her on that part, but I'm just making the point that there are safeguards in place for making sure people do come here. But these gentlemen, I don't think would be here if they didn't think that people would come to live here. One of my questions would be, I think that this is incredibly responsive to our last meeting and even the meetings before that. I really appreciate the consistent indications from Stanbery that we will work with you, and then you work with us. And then we say, okay, will you continue to work with us? And then you show us that you continue to work with us. That has not always been our experience, and I really appreciate that. Because of course there is a lot of public investment in that. So if there is something that is an ask, I'll use the dog park as an example. If there's something that is an ask, I'm hoping that there will be flexibility so long as it's allowed within the code, within the parameters, and doesn't affect it economically. That's something that I wanted to ask. But I see this as incredibly positive, because this is this concept plan, which is not a site plan, has been pointed out, is a compromise on many things. This is a compromise on the number of people. This is a compromise on the number of stories. This is a compromise on the parking. We hated all the surface parking, and now we're at a compromise on the amount of surface parking versus the amount of public space. It's, a compromise on a lot of different levels that I didn't know that we would ever be able to reach. So I was actually encouraged by a lot of the public input, seeking answers for the kind of technical questions like parking and traffic mobility studies, stormwater, those things that I know that we can address that are smaller things, as opposed to, the general, I look at this compared to the Woodfield project, for example, and Woodfield was a giant box, and this is light years better, has a ton more activated public space and retail. I know you have 2 acres marked out for the public area, but in my mind, I'm counting the retail as kind of a public area as well, because I'm going to go there if it's got something that I'm interested in. So I kind of count the blue and the orange as areas that are open to the public, if you will. So those were, I guess, my questions and feedback. You know, I'm not necessarily opposed to a different type of architecture. I don't have a problem with, I like the public art idea and collaboration. I'm assuming that there would be an interest in collaborating to make it more Oldsmar. And I think entry and exit, that would all be addressed in a mobility study. I think those were all the questions that I felt like we could address. Gentlemen, do you feel like you want to address any of the questions that we've asked up here?
Sure.
Okay.
So I guess I would just have one quick question for you guys, and that is, do you want me to try to hammer them all, or just kind of speak generally that I think we'll get the answer for 95% of them?
Well, yeah, speak generally,
Okay.
and we'll see where it goes.
So the first thing, right, as you look at this plan, it's balance, right? It's us balancing parking, right, with public space, with providing enough of what we need for retail, you know, what have you, right? It's a conceptual plan. As we've stated at the library, you know, and for the last 2 years since, the one thing we can absolutely guarantee, this plan will change, right? It'll shift, it'll move, it'll get modified, but we think what we're trying to show is it's actually a pretty good plan. I guess everybody here doesn't share that opinion, but that's okay. That's why we're here, right? But it's a pretty good plan, and it really does provide what we felt was really great balance between residential, retail, parking, public space. That will be further hammered out in a development agreement, should we all decide that that's where we want to take this, right? We appreciate the commentary and the thoughtful commentary tonight. That is certainly welcomed, and we do. We've tried to listen. We've tried to be very thoughtful on our approach. We've tried to provide Oldsmar with solutions to the questions. We haven't just thrown our hands up in the air, and to the degree that that's appreciated and understood, we appreciate that, right? As it relates to traffic and shutting down State Street and the plaza, the city will decide all that, right? If the events are a great hit and everybody loves it, then maybe there'll be a few more of them. If the public doesn't show up and doesn't find it a good use of the space, there won't be as many of them. We aren't going to decide to shut down State Street. You guys are going to decide to shut down State Street, right? We're just proposing that as we've gotten to know what we think is the community of Oldsmar, that there's an opportunity there to be able to utilize that for some really fun, cool public events. But that's ultimately not for us to decide. That's really for the town to decide. We're just trying to help provide the vehicle with which Oldsmar can create this bit of a downtown. And we recognize that this piece is extremely important in that effort, and that we can't build a whole entire downtown on 8 acres. It just can't happen. But we can build what we think is going to be a real thoughtful, really great project on the 8 acres we have that can help to activate State Street, and it's something that the town of Oldsmar can be proud of. As it relates to parking, you know, we will work with the city on a shared parking analysis. You know, not every person in every apartment is here all the time. They might actually go away or travel or go downtown to work, or maybe go to the airport and fly someplace. You know, but there's lots of groups that study that. The Urban Land Institute has a whole book on it, right? So there's people a whole lot smarter than me that will help us all figure that out. The stormwater That will obviously, there will be studies done, and we'll figure out the best way to manage that and handle that. Medical offices, no one needs to worry about coming to our project to get a colonoscopy. That, there is no thought along those lines, never has been, never will be. John, have we ever done? No. Okay, anyway. There will be a place to get a beer. There will not be a place to get a colonoscopy. So that's really, I think, kind of it generally in a nutshell. We're certainly happy to work with the city on the public art piece, of course. Like, I mean, that's the whole reason we have it. You know, we're really trying to create a vehicle that can be something, again, that we can be proud of and that the city can be proud of. The one other thing that I guess I would share with everybody, just so they know, is these are the kind of projects that we do. The retail is what we really do. It's what we've known. It's what we've grown up with since the day we got into the business, which is right out of college, right? We aren't going to throw up a bunch of retail buildings and throw signs in the windows and wait for Joe Blow to call and say, I want to open up a colonoscopy studio. We're gonna go. It's going to be a targeted approach. We're going to hire local people that I will work with and say, we really want a restaurant in this location. We will not build the location out for a restaurant, but that's not to say that it isn't going to be a restaurant, right? Restaurants build out their own locations. They don't want me trying to figure out how their kitchen should be laid out, right? But we've done this for decades. We know how to cut a deal with the yoga studio. We know how to cut a deal with the coffee shop. We know how to bring the right mix of tenants so that you don't have 5 coffee shops or 5 yoga studios. We know how to bring complementary retail together. And if you bring best-in-class retail together, they will be stronger together than any one retailer will be on its own, right? Anyhow. So we've done this in many places, and we'd love to do it here in Oldsmar. So I'll leave it at that. If there's any other specific questions that I didn't touch on, please fire away.
Did you have one that wasn't answered?
Yeah, just quickly, the gazebo and picnic area at the
Yep.
top? Is that public
Yes.
area?
Yes. And again, conceptual plan,
Don't get tied to the spot where
things
it's at
can
right now.
change.
Curious.
We will work with the city on making accommodations, to try to make all of it as welcoming and as open to the public as possible, other than the private residential areas, right? Want to be clear on that. But the dog park is just representative of us being sure that we didn't forget that will be part of the project. That doesn't have to be the exact location.
Anything else?
Can you just discuss about the parking garage, why we took that out of this, just real quick?
It was discussed at the last meeting. The parking garage is no longer financially feasible at this point.
Gotcha, okay.
Okay, so at this time, we do have a motion and a second. I believe you can take your seat. Is there any further discussion from the council?
I just have one thing.
Councilmember Knapp.
Thank you, Mayor. To the vice mayor's point and to the developer's point, it's like this is a concept. And the way I look at this too is try to zoom out, right? And I've brought this up, I don't know how long ago at a different meeting, is this is just one of kind of the start of what I think people aspire to have as a downtown versus a town center project, where if you just look at the grayed out areas in this picture, there's a half a dozen parcels that would be a great opportunity for other things to take place, whether it be remodeling that building or redeveloping those sites, that probably doesn't happen until something happens here. Obviously, the library project and the incoming chiropractic school are some great motivators for other people to get into the space, but ultimately my vision has always been, well, what happens along the whole length of State Street, right? This is just one segment. And I think a lot of people have been, well, let's wait and see. And So I think that's the general consensus among everybody is we want to see something happen here that can kind of kickstart or reinvigorate the city from where we were over 100 years ago. I was standing downstairs earlier before the meeting looking, this gentleman over here saw me in the hallway looking at the midwinter celebration in 1919. And there was about as many people gathered right in the center, almost where the dog park is, as there were recently for the beer fest that were out there just a few weeks ago. So there's been a desire for a long time as this being a hub for people to gather. Maybe now the gathering space has moved over on the opposite end of the land, but we've been doing it for 100 years. And so I think people are craving for, well, what can we continue to do? You know, we got the Saturday market, but now we have the opportunity for more. So that's all I got.
Anything else on this side?
Nope.
I could not agree more, Councilmember Knapp. I think, you know, something that's important to me to remember is that all of these buildings and drawings are nice, but what makes Oldsmar, to me, are the people. I mean, we have shown that we can literally turn a dirt lot full of random pieces of concrete into a Saturday market. Like, we can turn a park into a gathering place to save people from hurricanes. We can turn a church into a refuge. We can turn, you know, almost anything into something special in this city because the people who live here are invested in doing that. And I believe that the people who are on this council are invested into making that happen. And you're right, I do see, you know, Washington Square Plaza right here and the tree and the one building. And I see, you know, some of those older buildings on State Street. That's what could be, you know, be a catalyst. To me, it's never been buildings or what's in them or who lives there or how much money they have or whether they're a renter. Gosh, some of the most amazing people who have done things in this city don't even, Liz Martin was here earlier. I mean, David McKinley, I don't even know if he's here tonight, but some of the people who have done the most incredible things in Oldsmar don't even live in Oldsmar. So I really feel like this is a compromise in almost every way that we've ever attempted. And I'm interested in moving forward with the revised version and continuing negotiations so we can see the traffic modality plan, so we can see the stormwater plan, so we can do the parking calculations, so we can see where things will actually shake out to be. So if there's nothing further, I would like to take a roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Graber,
Yes.
Councilmember Tazeski,
No.
Councilmember Knapp,
Yes.
Councilmember Swager,
Yes.
Mayor Gannon,
Yes.
and that motion passes 4-1.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. There will be, as was discussed, 14 more steps. Not every step involves the public, but there are extensive opportunities for additional public involvement, and we will be updated by the city manager as negotiations continue. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming back again tonight to the city of Oldsmar. You might want to consider buying a place if you're going to be here. If you're going to be here a lot, I know a couple realtors. Okay, moving on to our consent agenda.
May I make a motion for a 5-minute recess, please?
Yes, but you better make it quick.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Knapp, was that you? Thank you. It was you. It's cold. I'm running to the bathroom. Wait, did we do 5 minutes? Did we do 5? Okay. I'm so glad. I did not want to read that to my Run. He's a little late to the game.
You don't have to stay.
Which I'm
Okay.
fine with.
You don't have to
because
stay. You don't have to stay. You're good.
We're not
I was
facing
like, just in case.
No, that'll get. He's in the 7.
I'm going home.
His first 2. I know he's a little late.
How you doing?
Oh, it's amazing.
I wish it was her. Oh my gosh, that's wild.
Yeah, just see me then.
No, I'm sorry you missed it. Yeah. I know. I might have been frightened.
All right, coming back to order. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking that break. At this time, I would ask our city clerk to read off our consent docket. Ooh, everybody got quiet.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a reading of the consent docket. Item 3, consider approval of the minutes of November 4th, 2025 council meeting. Item 4, consider approving payment to legal counsel for October 2025 legal services. Item 5, consider appointing Holly Grazidio to the alternate member vacant position on the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board. Item 6, consider appointing Jim Mascarenhas to the alternate member vacant position on the Planning Board. Item 7, consider approval of agreement with Holiday Sharing Fund for charitable donation allocation of $2,000 for fiscal year 2025 to 2026. Item 8, consider approval of the purchase of a new trailer-mounted pump package to Tradewinds Power Corp. under Florida Sheriff's Association contract number FSA 23-EQU 21.1 Spec 318. Item 9, consider approval of the purchase of cybersecurity consulting services. Confidential agenda item. Item 10, consider approval of purchases for the replacement of 4 IPS lift station pumps from Mater Electric Motors per the same pricing terms and conditions of Lee County contract number B240030KCW. Item 11, consider approval of the purchase of a new 2026 Ford F-550 regular cab chassis 2WD truck with 11 fixed side dump body with tarp and rear gate from Allen J. Automotive per Sourcewell contract number 2026-091521-NAF and 03282F-NAF. Item 12, consider authorizing contract with Precision Sidewalk Safety Corp. for the repair and elimination of sidewalk trip hazards under the same pricing terms and conditions as the Florida Bi-State Purchasing Cooperative Contract 22139. Item 13, consider awarding the purchase of a bucket truck to Altac Industries, Inc. under the same pricing terms and conditions of Sourcewell contract number 110421-ALT.
Thank you so much. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Could we have you come up, Holly? Sure. I understand you had a wonderful experience in the Citizens Academy.
I did. Yes, it was amazing.
So
Thank
much
you.
so that you're considering this appointment here.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself?
Sure. My name is Holly Grazidio. I've lived in Oldsmar for the past 20 years. Most recently down the street here in Wellington Estates and originally down by the movie theater back near Sheffield Park. And I grew up in Palm Harbor, so I've lived in this area for most of my life. And I have become more interested in participating.
Got a lot of participation tonight, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, this was great. This was the first time that I came and have attended a meeting. So I'd like to do so more frequently because I think it's important to be a part of the place where you live. And I am particularly interested in the Parks and Rec Committee because my favorite hobby is running. And I do a lot of running around here from my house through the parks locally close here, and then I'll run all the way down to McMullen Booth and through Sheffield Park. Of course, I have a route that I still like to go over there and do from when I lived there for many years. And I also go to the rec center a lot and do the group exercise classes there. And I think just going through the Citizens Academy was a wonderful experience, and I think I was able to meet all of you there, or at least hear you give a little bit of an overview or introduction or presentation, and it was really quite impressive to see how the city operates so efficiently, and every team member that presented to us, you could see they took such pride in their work, and it was really quite heartwarming and really just made me want to participate even more. And so I thought seeing this open position, alternate position on the Parks and Rec Committee really aligned with my interest in becoming more involved in the city where I live and also with my personal interests and hobbies.
Thank you so much for hanging in there with us tonight. It's
Yeah,
really
you're
great
welcome.
to see you here again in Chambers. You're welcome to come to our meetings anytime, first and third Tuesday of the month.
Thank you.
But I hope you have an excellent experience on the Park and Recreation Board.
Thank you so much.
Any other discussion on these items or questions for Holly?
I do want to say Jim was here earlier,
Yes.
so just let everybody know, but he was also in Citizens Academy.
Yes, I remember.
Yes, he was.
That's where the idea came from, so just
Yeah.
thank you to you, Holly, thank you.
And thank you
Jim.
to Jim. If you're out there listening, I'm so sorry that we had a long agenda before getting to you, but we really appreciate you volunteering your time. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Holly.
Thanks, everyone.
Tom, you got anything?
I got one thing.
What's your thing?
It's not on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay. I just want to wish my beautiful wife a happy wedding anniversary. It's 9 years tomorrow.
Oh, Faith.
So,
We love
Faith,
you,
I know you're
Faith.
listening. I love you, baby.
We love you, Faith. We'll not keep him much longer.
That's all I have.
Oh, that's so wonderful. Thank you for sharing that, Tom. We love seeing Faith at the different city events in Oldsmar. You should bring her to celebrate Oldsmar this weekend. Anyway, or do something for your anniversary that's way more fun. Either way, whatever you like to pick. City manager.
Item number 14 is to consider adopting Resolution 2025-32, revising the budget for fiscal year 24-25. The General Fund, Community Redevelopment Agency Fund, Capital Improvement Fund, Water and Sewer Operating Fund, and Stormwater Utility Fund require adjustment at this time. In April of 2025, the city received $2.78 million to the sale of the land adjacent to the library. This resolution will increase the budgeted revenue for these proceeds allocated across the applicable funds as follows. $2.25 million to the general fund, $385,000 for the Community Redevelopment Agency Fund, $145,000 for the Capital Improvement Fund. These proceeds have been placed in reserve to fund future projects, strengthen insurance reserves, and offset future payments of the Harbor Palms debt in accordance with the strategy outlined in the City Council's adopted FY26 annual budget. In addition to the land sale proceeds, the city exceeded budgeted targets for investment earnings in last fiscal year and will recognize these one-time supplementary revenues to be saved and reserved in the following funds. $200,000 to the general fund, $83,000 to the Community Redevelopment Agency Fund, $205,000 to the Capital Improvement Fund, $375,000 to Water and Sewer Operating Fund. These funds will reduce the use of appropriated reserves in the general fund and the Water and Sewer Operating Fund, and will be reserved for future capital needs and other funds. The Capital Improvement Fund will also recognize $125,000 in additional local infrastructure surtax as the penny for Pinellas proceeds received above budget estimates for FY25. The additional revenue will be reserved for future governmental capital improvements. In the Water and Sewer Operating Fund, $1.25 million of the proceeds from the American Rescue Act, ARPA, was utilized during FY25 as progress was made on citywide water meter replacement project. This revenue offsets previously appropriated reserves used for the project costs. Also, $40,000 of additional appropriations are needed in the Finance and Utilities Maintenance Divisions to cover expenses related to tenured employees' retirement and the implementation of the Governmental Accounting Standard Board GASB Statement 101, which is compensated absences, which is a new rule, and these expenses will be covered by fund reserves. In the Stormwater Utility Fund, $150,000 is requested to increase the revenue budget for grant proceeds received during FY25 from FDEP for the design and permitting costs related to the State Street Drainage Ditch Improvement Project. In addition, $170,000 was received for stormwater system buy-in fees for the land adjacent to the library. These funds will be saved in reserve for future stormwater system capital projects. So I will read the resolution, Resolution 2025-32, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, revising the budget for fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025, authorizing the city manager and the director of administrative services to revise the existing budget. Whereas the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida has approved a municipal budget for fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025, and whereas the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida is desirous of amending the budget by revising various revenues and expenditures, now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, that the following revenues and expenditures be revised in the following manner based on the review of the budget. Section 1, the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida has hereby revised the existing budget for fiscal year 2024-2025 in accordance with the Schedule A as attached. Section 2, the resolution will take effect immediately upon passage. This is a reading of Resolution 2025-32. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Anytime you want to bring money in?
Yep.
Yes, I will vote yes. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item 15.
Is to consider approval of the interlocal agreement with Pinellas County as a co-permittee for ambient water monitoring and testing. The City of Oldsmar is a co-permittee with the Pinellas County for our National Pollution Discharge Elimination System Municipal Separate Stormwater or Sewer System Permit, also known as the MS4. And so in accordance with these permit requirements, the city is required to monitor water quality data. Oldsmar entered into an interlocal agreement with Pinellas County to collect and report this data annually on December 10th, 2013, amended the ILA on September 10th, 2020, and the third amendment is included herein for 2025. Each municipality in Pinellas County, besides the city of St. Pete, has delegated Pinellas County to collect their water quality data and are billed proportionally according to their respective land area. City is expecting to receive an invoice in March for these monitoring services. The monitoring services are estimated to be $29,000. Staff recommends approval.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item number 16.
Is to consider approval of auction services agreement between Brindlee Mountain Fire Apparatus LLC and the City of Oldsmar per the terms and conditions of Sourcewell Contract number 120921-BLE CC 26-007. Engine 54 is a 2013 E1 Typhoon engine has reached its useful life with the city. When a vehicle or piece of equipment has reached its useful life, it is sold through an auction process. To facilitate the sale of this large asset, city staff is recommending City Council utilize a specialty auction company rather than our general equipment auction firm, as they are experienced with unique auction services related to fire service equipment. Their pricing and term of agreement align with the Sourcewell Contract 120921-BLE, allowing the city to benefit for competitive rates and consistent terms shared by other governmental entities. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this item?
I did have one question, Mayor.
You cannot keep the fire truck.
No. The answer's no.
Go ahead, one question.
No, is there any reserve for the fire truck, or, I'm looking in the contract, I don't know.
This is just to get them to sell it.
Right, in an auction environment though, but do
Oh,
we have
like
a
at a
reserve? Like
Floor price.
Yeah,
Like we'll get at
A
least
minimum.
this amount.
yeah.
I want something
Gonna
for it.
price us right, price us right us.
Yeah.
Jason Schwabe, Fire Chief.
What are we gonna
Yeah,
get?
yeah, in speaking with them, we can set a reserve, so.
Okay.
Yeah, we plan to do so.
Otherwise,
Okay.
it's going to Swagger's.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Swagger's
$1.
got he's got the money,
$1.
he's gonna buy it. You can't bid $1. It's not the Price is Right.
Thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, City Manager Felicia. And enjoy your vacation. Thank you. City Clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 17, consider scheduling work session regarding council goals and priorities. So the work session would be located here in Council Chambers, 101 State Street. The following dates and times are presented for council's consideration. So that's Tuesday, January 13th, 2026, and Tuesday, January 27th, 2026 at 6 p.m. What date would council prefer?
Did anybody have a strong inclination one way or the other? Nope. Tom, do you have a conflict?
No, I was just, on the 13th, we have a scheduled Oldsmar staff planning meeting. That's starting at 8:30 in the morning, so we'll be at that all day long.
Maybe pick the other day so you can go home.
I don't know what Felicia is suggesting. I just wanted to make that known that we do have an all-day event.
All day, all the way to the end of the day.
Why
So
don't
maybe
we pick the other day?
let's take that into account perhaps and go with the 27th. Is that okay with everybody?
Sure.
Sure.
All right, so I will entertain a motion to schedule the work session on Tuesday, January 27th, 2026.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. We already did number 18. Flip it over to 19. I'm coming to you, Valerie.
All right.
We can go reverse.
Celebrate Oldsmar coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah, this next weekend. So I will be out there. If you see me, come say hi. Tell me what you think of our downtown project. Whatever. Just have a beer with me. That's cool too.
Are you doing a shift in the tent?
I'm not doing a shift in the tent, but I think I am going to try to judge the chili cook-off.
Oh, okay.
So I've never done that before, but I want to. So,
I don't know
yeah.
if I've ever done that. I finally did the hot wings, yeah.
Feel free to join me.
I thank you.
Yeah, so if you see me, come say hi. I don't think there's anything else. I think that's it. Short and sweet.
Okay. Council members, Nat?
So it's snap.
Snap. It's late. Leave me alone.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of things. As I mentioned at the last meeting, got a chance to attend the annual talent show, which I think was a fantastic production. The city manager was there as well. I know she enjoyed it. Her team did a fantastic job of putting on the event. Everybody performed well. Of course, I have to be biased for my daughter, who did her first solo and was fantastic. And after she got off the stage, she was like, "I didn't mess up once." Super proud. And if any of y'all remember, the first time she did a production for SUDA was when it was freezing cold for Mardi Gras at the park, and she broke down and did not get on stage with her counterparts. So it's quite the learning curve that's changed in just a couple of years. So great job, Leona, for your performance. I'm also looking forward to being at Celebrate Oldsmar. I think the kids are really excited for fireworks. It's always a fantastic blast, and I will also give an early shout out to my wife for our 7-year wedding anniversary, which will be next Monday. So happy early wedding anniversary. Nicole, I love you. And I'll see you soon.
Oh,
thank you, man.
Of course. Councilmember Swager?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to start by asking Councilmember Tadzeski, and you don't have to answer this now, obviously it can be in a couple weeks, but just genuinely curious as to the no vote tonight on downtown. I know it was a tough decision, and I think to the developer's point at the end, it was a balanced layout and approach, and again, early stages. It wasn't perfect to me. I don't think it was perfect to anybody, but yeah, I'm just genuinely curious to know. So again, in the future is fine, obviously at a council meeting. And then going back to the Oldsmar Rod Run Saturday, about 2 weeks ago, right? I showed up a little late because I was at the Cars and Coffee in Innisbrook, but I spent about an hour and a half talking to one individual about his Mustang. And it was just an amazing event. I saw Felicia and Jim there, and I didn't get a chance to see you because I was just stuck there.
Get stuck, huh?
Yeah, but great event, just great weather.
a beautiful day. So looking forward to celebrate Oldsmar because they have also a car show. So I'm looking forward to that as well. And happy Thanksgiving, if you can believe, is next week, right?
I felt that one.
Like a gut punch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's how time works, everyone.
I
Yeah.
know, but
Oh, that's what it is. It's time.
It's that earth that keeps spinning.
Right.
That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, do you have anything to share that
I
is
do.
not
It's just
catty?
That's not what?
Catty?
Cat. It's not being catty. It's just like it's like when my son gets furious because it's Monday. Like it's just like that's how it works. It's the next, I gotta go to school. Like I'm sorry. You get 9 days off for Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And the kids do have both weekends and the 5 days of school off. So just enjoy. Just be on the lookout for them. Veterans Day was cold. It's a wonderful ceremony, but we were sitting there. It was me and the mayor and Councilmember Knapp, and you just saw the three of us. And we're just like, you know. But it was great. It really was. I will be at Celebrate Oldsmar. I am working the 3 to 6:30 shift, and I will be quick with this story, but it's hilarious, and I do love him dearly. But I did mention my son, and Councilmember Knapp, you mentioned Mardi Gras. So you know how we throw beads at the parades?
Yeah.
He decided to break one of the beads, and so there's just a bunch of different cupfuls of different color beads, right? So 2 days ago, he said, my ear hurts. And we're like, okay. So we put drops in his ear. And we thought he was faking because he didn't want to go to school. And then he came home and he's just like, hey, my ear still hurts. This is the last night. So my wife's putting more drops in his ear. And he goes, Mommy? And she said, yeah. He goes, do you see a bead in there? So the bead had been in his ear for probably 36 or 40 hours or something. So many thanks to After Hours Pediatrics over in Boot Ranch, who said, we can't get it, you got to go to the ER.
oh,
So they finally got it out at about 10 till 12 last night. So, yeah, but just, I didn't know I was supposed to like put the beads like in a safe. Like I just, my failure as a parent, but he's
You didn't
fine.
count them all?
Yeah, he was fine. He was home from school with me today, but everything is all right. But again, happy Thanksgiving, and that's all I had, Mayor. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
I just wanted to address Councilmember Swager's
Oh,
question.
sure.
I'm prepared now.
Okay.
And feel free to ask me a question like that anytime. I put so much thought into this. I lose sleep over it. I know that all of us up here care about Oldsmar deeply, or we wouldn't be doing this position. So always, anytime.
And not in public. They're like, you know what I mean? Sunshine is what I meant.
No. I knew what you meant, but you said I can answer you later, and I don't need to answer you later. I can just answer you now. Yeah, we're all here. So I think I've been pretty candid about how I feel in general about the apartment project. I haven't liked it from the beginning, and would prefer less stories. I was glad when they reduced it to 3 stories. No one else was happy with that. Saw that coming. That's something that we've kind of butted heads on since the beginning. So that just is what it is. I think that a lot of the public has been very clear about not preferring an apartment complex. I understand that that's been the vision of previous councils. That's what you put a request out for. That's the project that came back. Understanding all that, I still don't like the project. So I will say that I appreciate the compromises that have been made by the developer. The additional open space, I think, is fantastic for the city. That's definitely something I wanted to see in a project like this. I think that working in collaboration with the city, assuming that we continue to vote forward this project, that's something that I really want to stay the way it is at that 2 acres minimum, because it's super important to the public to have that open space, to feel like they're getting something back for the land that was purchased with taxpayer money. And yeah, it's just my personal opinion that it's not the best project for the land or the best place to compromise when so many people have strong opinions on it. I hope that was more clarity kind of on how I feel. I'm not trying to stonewall the project. I'm not trying to do anything underhanded. I've tried to be very transparent about how I feel about this and why. So, yeah. Hopefully that helps you understand.
All right. Pretty much everything was mentioned, Veterans Day, Rod Run, Saturday Market with the holiday exchange. It was really heartwarming. Somebody who came to the holiday swap actually posted a picture of the items that they took from the holiday swap and then used to decorate their home. And they took a picture and they put it on Facebook and said, thank you to whoever donated these blue decorations. And just, that's the kind of stuff that makes our city our city. You know, that's the kind of stuff I just take with me everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I feel that love. I was not cold at Veterans Day. I was not cold at all because our wonderful, wonderful citizen volunteer, longtime servant, upstanding member of our community, and leader of Community United Methodist Church. We are UMC.org. No, that's wrong. We are community. No, Chris is going to fix it. Anyway, Rhonda Coy gave me hand warmers, and I proudly kept those in my pockets. Thank you very much as I walked around all night.
Thank you, Rhonda.
Oh, what a doll. Anyway.
You did try to pass them off to me a couple of times.
I did.
And
I
said,
tried
no,
to help
And I
you.
said, no, you keep them. It's fine.
Yeah, well,
Passing them off or rubbing them in your face?
you're a gentleman like that, and I appreciated it because I could feel my hands at the end of the ceremony. But I really appreciated everybody that came out, especially the veterans. It was really different. I don't know if everybody saw. I didn't make a speech. I instead went around and recognized each of the veterans who were there because I feel like they don't often get to say their name and feel that moment of pride while surrounded by people who are celebrating them. So I always got to do something different, right? That feels very much like Katie.
I have to say, it's your time, but I have to say, I've talked to a number of the veterans since that time, and they felt honored to be able to say their rank and their service. They almost wanted to give their number, their serial number. It was like
That's
they
really
were
cool.
honored that you did that.
I feel like that's really cool, and
They felt seen.
And what was interesting, we have a lot of high-ranking veterans in our community. I mean, I don't know all the military ranks, but some of those were big colonel this and like, I was like, wow. It's cool. They chose to celebrate with us, and I felt like that was really neat. Thank you for sharing that. Again, see, these are the things in Oldsmar that make Oldsmar Oldsmar. I just absolutely adore our city. Thank you all for your support on this K-8 initiative. I don't know what the research is going to find, but I sure got a lot of feedback on Facebook today, which I recognize is completely unscientific. But I wanted to kind of get a gauge of whether or not there would be public support for like a town hall meeting. And boy, did that really explode. So I am looking forward to working with the city manager and perhaps scheduling that town hall type meeting with a school board member, Eileen Long, and seeing when and where that would most appropriately be done, hopefully at a time and place when parents could attend and probably ask a lot of questions that we don't necessarily have the answer to, but I want to know that they're interested in those answers, and that's very exciting to me. I know that my children might not be able to benefit from it, but the idea that future children might, and I do believe and agree with the actual science that it can strengthen our community, our kids' relationships with their teachers, with the parents and the teachers. I really feel strongly about that. If there's a legacy that I could leave, I want to leave it with the young people. So thank you for that. It got a little off track there at the beginning. Eileen, we might have to take the microphone from her next time. That's okay. But I definitely appreciated the input. Good luck making that into a resolution, by the way. Well, you could talk.
We'll get it done.
I love you, Tom. Okay, so let's hop over to our tentative agenda. And I guess one thing to add would be approval of the resolution. Anything else anyone wishes to pull or add? Okay. So
Motion to approve the tentative agenda as amended.
Well done, sir.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move, second.
Oh, I have a motion and a second. This does not require a vote. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for hanging in there with us. It's not too late. It's a little late.